back to the game. There we go. Yeah, and I just have it on the menu right now, so the only thing you'll really be able to see is the like you'll be able to see like at the top and the bottom the sort of gray smoke moving. So
Yeah, I see it.
okay.
I'm there.
Yeah. Do you have the quality set to whatever you want to set it to?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're live. Is that what we're saying here?
I guess so.
Okay, I hope I hope it's working. Okay, so what's up, everybody? We're back with a real stream this time. Yeah, sorry this took so long. It's just I don't know. This shit takes forever to start working.
Sometimes it's like way more complicated than people make it out to be. I feel like.
And then the other thing is like, apparently my internet is shit. And like, I mean, I live in America, so I kind of knew it was shit, but I didn't know it was as shit as I thought it was.
Yeah,
So.
well, yeah. I would agree to that.
Yeah, so, anyway, so I have no idea how many people are going to show up for this anyway. But I guess
So what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, so the thing is, we're going to be playing through about half of the game. But we're not going to be watching the cutscenes, partially because, if you can fucking believe this, the cutscenes are still copyright on YouTube, even after 10 years. Or, like 9 years. It's been 9 years.
Oh, really? It's been that long?
Yeah, this game came out in 2009 in Japan, or 2010 in America, or the West.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah,
Does it matter, like, where it originated from? Like, is it from copyright from since the Japan release, or from the US release?
Well, it's both.
Like,
it's like
as far
Square.
as dates?
No. Well, they're both copyrights, like both the Japanese and the English version. But the thing is, like, yeah, it's copyright by Square. So, like, when because you know Dark Kefka on YouTube, right?
Oh my god, that's a name that I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. Because I remember you were telling me like a few years ago that you were watching stuff with Colby. You were watching his stuff. Yeah, so this was like fucking months ago when we were trying to figure this out. But yeah, he started a playthrough of this game like a month ago or so. Because it was like, you know, the next game people had voted for. And he was doing like, you know, trying to upload stuff, and literally like not before he even publishes it, but like as soon as he uploads it, because you know a lot of people on YouTube, when they have like scheduled content, they upload it and then they leave it like, I don't exactly know how they do it because I've never done it myself, but they set it to like upload and then like release later, like when they want it to.
Oh yeah,
like a timed thing.
I think they make it private first and then like.
Maybe that's I think that might be how they do it, unless
I don't know.
just yeah.
You know, I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you know, I feel so he was doing like a playthrough of this, right? And he made a video talking about how all of the cutscenes are copyright, like no matter what he did, no matter, because like, you know, when that thing usually happens, you like flip the screen or like make sure that it's cut off in certain parts, you know.
Yeah.
And nothing fucking worked at all. Like it's still, the copyright still got him. Like not even after, like even if he had it private, it would like immediately hit him.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
So yeah, that's why, and you know,
sucks.
I looked it up. I didn't actually. I was thinking about doing a test stream to check, but I figured just fuck it. I don't even really want to watch the story anyway because it's really long. It's really good, but like.
Well, let's get started.
Yeah, we can get started here. But I'm gonna anyway. I'll be skipping all the cutscenes. Hopefully as soon as I can, so I'll just be spamming the start button until shit pops up. There we go. Yeah, and I don't... Oh yeah, so what I wanted to ask you was, just before we get started here.
Sure.
Have you actually played or watched this game before?
I've definitely watched people play this game.
Okay. Do you, like, know the story? Like, at least the majority of it, if not the whole thing?
Yeah, like, I understand it. I understand the gist of it, basically. Like, the bare bones of it.
Yeah.
But, like, it seems that there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of vocabulary and a lot of people to remember too.
Oh yeah, that's definitely... Like, this is a huge game.
Yeah, it's kind of... I mean, not to say it's as good as Lord of the Rings, but it's in that kind of... You get lost with the names of things, the names of creatures, like the names of... people, or like... Not so much like... like...
Oh, I've never seen it do that. Wow.
Hey!
I didn't know this first boss could, like, knock you up into the air. Wow, that's nuts.
Oops.
But yeah, it's like, if you're not paying attention or not willing to pay attention, you're definitely not gonna know what the fuck's going on.
Like, especially with, like, a little bit of the lore, like, in this world, you know, magic's a thing, like, for example.
Yeah.
Or, like, this sort of magic is what we call woodland.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's the sort of game that's like, if, for whatever reason, if you're not attached enough to pay, like, a lot of attention, or if you're not, you know, if it doesn't hook you, essentially, in, like, a really interesting way, then you're pretty much fucked in terms of, like, knowing what the story's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but if you do manage to you know, work your way through the story and just, you know, stay interested, stay attentive, it's a really good story, in my opinion.
I was definitely more passive in like seeing the story, because
you weren't the one playing
right,
it,
I wasn't the one playing it, and also too, you know, my husband would be playing it and, you know, it'd be 30 minutes in the same room doing laundry or something, so I wasn't quite...
So you weren't,
I
like...
would pick up on things, but...
You were kind of watching, like, passively watching,
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like as if Twitch was on. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Can we say that? Can we refer to that on a YouTube stream?
To Twitch? Yeah, you can refer to it.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear about that new rule they have where it's like you can't make a YouTube video just for the purpose of linking to some other website? Did you hear that they made that?
No.
Yeah.
That's funny. But what if you're like, you know, like you're giving some tips and you're like, hey guys, I'm gonna like give you some links to things that help me through XYZ and how to ship properly and how to get a squatty potty.
Yeah, well that's fine. It's just if you make a video that's exclusively about, hey, I'm doing this on this other website, or I want you to go to this other website, then that's like, that's why are you subscribed to Hat Films on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know how, I don't know if you're usually, yeah, you're probably awake when they start streaming, because you're like in their almost the same time zone as them, right?
Yeah, they're only one time zone away from me.
Yeah. So have you ever seen their stream announcement videos?
No.
Really?
But
because they make them after they upload them, and after the stream's over, they privatize them. But you can find them in a playlist on their channel. I've
definitely seen like other Yogscast members do that.
Yeah.
Like Hannah would do that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the reason I bring up Hat Film specifically is because they make sure that their stream announcement videos are always like skits of some sort, so that they can't get fucked by YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's so as long as there's like, you know, content in the video other than the announcement that like you're going to be on another website or something, then it's supposedly fine at that point. So yeah. But yeah, going back to the game. Yeah, this was was this the first? I can't. It's hard for me to remember, because the thing is, you were the one who like told me about it first.
Really, it was me?
Yeah, because I distinctly remember, and that's why I was asking you if you had finished. Well, okay, so actually, before I talk more about how I was introduced to it, just for context, have you seen the ending of this game?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so we don't have to worry about like spoilers and shit like that.
No. We're good.
Yeah, so if anybody's worried about spoilers, I don't know. I guess we could try to not talk about it too much.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah, just go fuck yourself. Yeah, but yeah,
I apologize on behalf of myself.
But yeah, we'll try to not talk too much about spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't.
Honestly, it's been so long too that it's kind of foggy for me. So.
Yeah. How's the quality looking, by the way? Is it looking smooth?
It looks fine to me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but anyway, I'll try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. We'll be talking about it a little bit, so I hope you guys don't mind. But
I'll be sounding like an idiot because I don't remember some of it, so...
It'll probably come back to you as you watch more of it. But yeah, we're not going to be playing through the story anyway, so... I guess I don't need to save, do I?
You must be real nice from up there.
Yeah, so... We're just going to be playing through the game up until about the halfway point, because, yeah, so the whole reason we're doing this at all is because someone else on YouTube who might be watching, I'm not sure, on YouTube their name is Artificial Pup, and they were doing like what's it called, like solo runs where you just essentially play as one character and you like, I guess you kind of, it's funny to explain this way, but you kind of like force the other two characters in your party to knock out, so that you can just play as the lead character. So it's like a challenge run basically, and I was like, shit, that's really cool. And so he did one, or I guess they did one for Lightning, and I was thinking, man, I'd love to do one for Snow, because Snow's like arguably my favorite character in the game. And also Snow is going to be in Dissidia soon, according to like a leak. Cool. So, and we'll talk about that too. But yeah, so what we were planning on doing was doing this like 2 months ago or something. But then a whole bunch of, you know, this was more complicated, plus we had like other real life shit to deal with.
Yeah, also I live like on the other side of the planet. Yeah,
Michelle lives in Germany right now, and I still live in the US. So yeah, it's hard for us to get like
overlapping time that isn't too absurd.
Yeah, so like this is
one or the other.
Yeah, this is the best time we could choose. It's about 3 to 4 p.m. U.S. Central Time, which for you in Germany is like 10 p.m., right? 10 to 11.
Yeah. My husband's already gone to bed, so.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. I'm just like in my little cave, doing all the gamey stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, we're hopefully the schedule. I'll make a video about this, maybe like tomorrow or the day after or whatever. I'll post like a schedule.
Maybe be like, this is what we're doing this week or the next couple weeks. Yeah.
So basically, for those of you who are watching now and you're wondering what the schedule is going to be, it's going to be starting at 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time.
Would you think of these mobs as like kitties or like doggos?
Well, the thing is, they're called pantherons, so they're panthers, so they're technically large cats. They look kind of like wolves to me.
Oh my god, I have to tell you the funniest thing I saw in a long time.
Yeah.
Do you know who Gordon Ramsay is?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't sure. I'm sure a lot of viewers know too.
Yeah.
So he has this show. Well, he used to. I don't know if he still does, but we were just watching a rerun of Kitchen Nightmares, where he's trying to help out restaurant owners with failing businesses.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get to know the owners, these two owners. And he asked them, okay, so, you know, how old are you guys? You know, how long have you been together? Do you have any kids? And the lady, she's like, yes, we have 2 boys, 2 3-year-old boys, and they're trapped inside cats' bodies. Meow. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm a cat person too, but, you know, in general, I'm just an animal person. I just happen to have a cat. And, like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say, like, yes, I have, like, a 48-year-old woman trapped inside an 8-year-old cat's body. No.
That's like some, what's the word for, like, otherkin? Have you heard of otherkin before? They're basically like super furries.
Oh.
Have you seen that meme? Have you seen that meme that's like what's it? On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
Yes.
Have you seen that? Yeah, that's an otherkin. They're like. Yeah.
But then like that also ties into this other vine that's like, you know, just live your dream, you know? If your dream is like you wanna be a dog, wolf. Am I right? But oh my god, I was just like, I have 2 boys trapped in cats' bodies. Yeah. Like
that's fun. Oh my god, I saw my favorite like
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, my favorite Gordon Ramsay meme is it was like a YouTube poop, I guess.
Oh gosh.
It was a really short one though. It was one. Fuck. It was like Oh,
here's your boy.
Oh yeah, here's Snow. It's probably my favorite character. I feel like
Why? Because he's like sort of similar looking to Zoro from One Piece because of that bandana.
I not really, but like
okay.
Just in terms of like his personality.
I'm stretching here. I'm stretching.
Yeah. If anything, he looks like I don't know. Who does he look like? To be fair, he does look a little bit like Ted, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But not that much. Like Ted doesn't wear an a trench coat. But yeah. Also,
very select people do.
Yeah.
And
how do you think it works on him?
Means.
How do you think the trench coat looks on him?
I think it's dope, but like that's the nature of this world too. Like,
yeah.
If you transplanted him into our modern day world, I'd be like, who you be fighting? Like,
yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. It's like that Seinfeld episode where, you know, Jerry sees the guy with a cape and he's like, who wears a cape? Yeah.
It always, man, fucking, it's like, I always think...
Basically everything is like a Seinfeld episode.
I know, I was gonna say, like, if you've ever read Sphere by Michael Crichton, one of the parts at the beginning of the story is like how the main character is recounting all the advice he's been given across the years, and one of them is like, he was talking about how his like science teacher or something from college it's like, and he was like, well, and then there was my science professor from college or whatever, and basically he would always just laugh and say, it all comes back to sex in the end. And I feel like that's a perfect quote if you replace sex with Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It all comes back to Seinfeld in the end.
It does. It does. They might have been criticized for being a show about nothing. But if life can always be referenced through something Seinfeldy, then what does that make your life? Nothing. That's right. Chef kiss.
Wrapped up and ready.
Oh man. I'm just waiting for the time in my life where it's like oh man, it's kind of like Eternal Sonata, where it's like you can't distinguish your life from dreams, but like for me it's like when you can't distinguish your life from a Seinfeld episode. I feel like that's like that's soon approaching.
Oh my god. So recently, like we had done a little bit of traveling, and yeah, okay, traveling sounds like, oh, so fancy, but no, this was a little bit of like just heavy lifting throughout the entire stretch of it. But it was to a point where maybe it was just that I wasn't, you know, I was gone so long from sleeping in my bed that like I really felt that I was just like flipping between two channels on the TV. So because my dreams were so vivid and felt so real, and then you know, in my waking world I was so groggy that it felt dreamlike too. So it was just like I felt like I had been awake for 9 days straight, and I was definitely well, by the time I got home and was able to sleep in my own bed, I was a zombie for, I don't know, 3 days. The recovery time was awkward and strange, but it really did feel like I was just floating through the ether because I didn't know what was real anymore.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean by that, yeah. And I've had, man, just speaking of, like, sleeping, I've had, like, the past 3 days have been fucking terrible for me because, like,
as always. Hit 'em hard and hit 'em again.
I feel like I don't get that much sleep just in general, because it's hard for me to find a time, like, when sleeping is optimal, because I don't want to be woken up by, like, the other people in the house.
Right.
Like, when they're doing their bullshit.
Yeah. Are you doing a lot? I remember one time you were doing, you know, like 4 hours.
Yeah, it was like split, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like that for like the past 2 days, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, because that's what people used to do before.
Yeah, pretty much.
Before clocks or alarms or things like that. Or even just, you know, man-made light.
Yeah.
They would do that sort of like strange circadian rhythm of the day. But...
Yeah. Well, basically the reason is because, like, if for some reason I don't get enough sleep, like, at the normal time, like at night, I'll end up trying to go to bed, like, at around this time. But the thing is, it's like, I know it's like kind of autumn now, but like it's still pretty hot.
Oh really?
Yeah.
For you
so
guys?
Like, yeah, like the last 3 days.
It's cooled down like crazy. It is. I am wearing cardigans again.
Stay
over here.
Don't want to make their job any easier.
But
yeah.
But how how hot is it in the States right now? Well, I guess in the Midwest.
Well, yeah, so, like today it's 90, 91 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, gross.
Yeah. But the past few days...
You guys have air conditioning.
Yeah. I don't understand why, like, pretty much all of Europe doesn't have air conditioning, like, in personal houses. That confuses the hell out of me, honestly.
Well, I mean, okay, so where I live, it's at a higher latitude line than where you are, so normally people think, you know, it doesn't get that hot in the summer, but of course, you know, global warming has rushed and ushered its way more quickly now. So people don't really have the time to react to install or to, you know, make air conditioning kind of the normal thing to have in your personal home. And or even in like in public places like stores or restaurants, there's no air conditioning. It really have to be, you know, maybe a spa or kind of just the frozen section of the grocery store if you want to get cooled down. But the thing is too is that so in Germany too they have these kind of shutters for your windows that roll down, and that keeps a lot of the heat out. So people just kind of, you know, they open all the windows up at night when it cools down. And I have to sneeze. Excuse me, sorry. But and then when the sun comes out and they wake up, they close everything down and they put all the shutters down.
Yeah.
So that the house stays cool through the peak of the sun. And then they open it up again for the evening. But I mean, it's this kind of thing where it's just, you know, it isn't too much trouble for people to be like, you know, it's a hot day. I'm going to be just a little bit warmer than normal.
Yeah. And
that's it. So I kind of really like that. And also too, you know, people have fans. And honestly, that's enough. Sometimes. You know, there was a stint where it was just, oh my gosh, it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Berlin for 3 days straight.
Holy shit, yeah.
And I was there, unfortunately, in like this in this hostel, and it was just baking. There was no cross breeze, even with the windows open. Yeah. And there was no fan, and like, oh, that was just, ooh. But
yeah, it's fucking terrible.
That doesn't happen often. You know, that 100 degree Fahrenheit heat.
Yeah.
So it's really an anomaly. But it's starting to be a little bit more common as each year comes by. But yeah, I mean, you know, when I move back to the States, I would like to, well, wherever my forever home is going to be, I would like for it to not rely on a cooling system.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money and it wastes a lot of energy. It has a big carbon footprint. I'm not all about that. I'm just, you know, I mean, I can do without it, so, because I've just lived like that for some time, so. But I know for you run pretty warm to begin with. Your normal resting temperature is pretty high to begin with, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I could, well, I don't know. I guess it depends on where I live, but I'm not sure I could feasibly survive in a place like Chicago, you know, without AC.
Yeah, and that's not as bad as some other places.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently we dropped in views because I was just talking about the weather.
What else was I gonna say?
Sorry, I'm a boring ass adult. I'm old, so bitch, I don't give a shit. If you don't care about the weather, you're all fucked in the end anyway. So if you don't care about the weather's gonna fuck you right in the ass. Oh, I lost another viewer. I'm so bad.
Yeah, what was it? So something else, which is pretty fun, is that, Final Fantasy Peasant, who I do some, work for, he just started playing this game yesterday, which made me really happy. And he's, like, doing, the works, so, like, he's watching all the cutscenes and everything.
There they are.
He's doing the big shebang of the entire thing.
Yeah, so he, yeah, if you want to watch, like, the story, go watch his, even if you're not that interested, just go watch his stuff anyway, because he's really cool.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be playing through, like, half of it, and watching the story, just because, anyway, going back to what we were talking about, at the beginning, yeah, the point of this is kind of like a trial for us, because
oh, it's not a shit show.
well, it could be that too, but like,
oh, why not both?
Yeah, kill two birds with one stone.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah, so let's see.
Oh. Okay, so what's his face? This
Hope?
one. Hope. He is such a whiny little bitch.
I think out of all the characters, Hope has probably the best development. I mean, all the characters are well written in this game, but I feel like Hope's story arc is, I don't know if it's like the best written, but it's definitely the most satisfying out of all six of them.
It holds up. It checks out.
Yeah.
What do you think about people being like, saying that lightning is kind of this empty husk of a person? Like,
well, at the beginning, I guess we could talk about that, yeah, like the characters and stuff. I just want to point out Yuge, this guy here with the blue hair. One of the comments I saw in Pez's stream yesterday was, which I found both hilarious and incredibly true. Yuge's curves are more defined than my future success.
wow, that is very poetic.
Yeah,
I
so
must say,
I really like that.
like, honestly, like, if you can write that and come up with that,
you might have a future as a poet.
Your future might be a little bit more curvy than you think.
But yeah, so Pez is playing this. So I don't really, honestly, I don't keep up with a lot of his streams because he streams like all the fucking time. But yeah,
Does he stream while he's taking a dump?
No, because he has. Well, sometimes he has like co-commentators. So.
Gotcha.
Oh, I can skip this. Okay.
I was like, whoa, does he have a setup when, like, over the bathtub, or... Not to imply that he shits in the bathtub, but that as, like, another example, maybe?
Yeah, so going back to what you were saying about lightning.
Is she, or is she not, a very dull person, or a complicated stoic person.
Well, here's the thing. Lightning is, in terms of like character traits I would use to describe her. Which this is going to be kind of a little bit spoilery, sort of. But lightning at the start of the game is clearly like. Well, okay. So here's the thing you need to know about 13, or you don't need to know it, but like you'll find out as you play the game. But what you need to know, because a lot of people bitch about this game's, well, everything about this game. People love to bitch about this. Not that you should be dissuaded, because actually the people who
I just hear mixed reviews from all sorts of different people. So it appeals to different people. You know.
Yeah.
So take a try, see if you like it.
Yeah. So
it
is very divisive. Although I will say that there is legitimate evidence, just in case anybody has any doubts about this. This game is not mostly hated. This game is, because if you go anywhere where you can read user-written reviews, like Steam, for example, although Steam isn't a very good example because Square's never been good at making PC ports of anything. Like 13.2 is almost unplayable.
Really?
If you don't, because like, do you remember when I was?
Experienced that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this game didn't turn out too bad. It's just that, in my opinion,
Well, did it just say Despacito?
Oh no, that says Deceptisol.
Amazing. See, this game is ahead of its time without its own knowing.
That's something else as well. Like, this game is, for a game that's about 10 years old, it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, totes. So, speaking about gorgeous games, when did Skyrim come out in relation to this one? Was it before or after? I don't remember.
This game came out in 2009 in Japan, and Skyrim came out at the end of 2011. Although, it was the end of 2009 when this game came out as well, so I think. Or maybe I'm wrong about that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so they're about... Well, Skyrim came out about the time that 13.2 came out, which is 2011 Japan, or 2012.
Okay, maybe that's why I was thinking it came out during either in the same year or very close.
Yeah, they're only 2 years apart. And for... Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was thinking of 13.2 then.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I was saying, 13.2 is damn near unplayable on the PC version. Unless you do what I did, which was... I think I was telling you about it when I did it. Or maybe I was telling Pop about it on Reddit or something. But, yeah. Basically, if you... I guess you could also do it for 13 as well, just like as a precaution. But basically, if you want to play... I guess this probably applies to all of Square's ports on PC, but if you want to play their games and like be mostly sure that it's going to work properly, turn off your cloud saving. Like under settings, there's an option for like cloud saving, so basically your save files are like saved on the cloud so that in case something fucks up with your PC, you can still
get back to where you were.
Yeah, because you can obviously, once you bought the game, as long as you log into the same account, you can download it on as many computers as you want. But like your save file, let's say your fucking motherboard blows up or some shit like that. You
were playing too close to the fire, and you decided, I'm gonna go to the bathroom while my tower is next to the fireplace.
Yeah.
Full of fireworks.
Yeah, so basically if something like that happens, you can still get your save back because it was on the cloud, so you could just get it back real easy. So that's why that exists. But if you turn it off, for some reason, it just doesn't work with Square's stuff, especially 13.2. Because like from what I've read, I fixed the problem before it became a problem because I just recently bought these on PC.
What? Being proactive? What is that?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's very unlike me, isn't it? Yeah, so...
That's very unlike either of us. Okay, we're related.
Yeah. So, yeah, apparently people were talking about how it's pretty unplayable. So what you do is you turn off the cloud saving and it should work perfectly. Or at least, you know, as well as it should. The only other thing I've noticed about the PC ports of 13 at least, and 13.2, is that the mouth, like, animations during cutscenes, not like the proper CG, because that's essentially just an MP4, but like the in-game cutscenes, when the characters' mouths move, it's like, kind of, it's not as fluidly animated as it is on consoles, because obviously these games are built for consoles, like for PS3, and this one was also built for 360.
Like they're marionette doll kind of.
It's like the best way I can explain it is like on the PC version, their mouths open a bit too wide when they like talk, and it's like it's not that noticeable if you haven't played the console version.
That's what I'm talking about.
And like they don't animate back to their normal state fluidly. It's like really fast, I guess. It's really hard to explain, but it just, as somebody who's like played the console version like several times, it's something you notice. So yeah, there's that. I don't know if I'm just being anal about it. Yeah, but
no, I mean, you know, if you're so used to seeing it one way, I can imagine. Yeah.
I don't know if maybe that was just
up on something as small as that.
Yeah, because I only noticed it because this is like kind of the first time I'm playing this on PC, other than like when we were doing the test, which I only played barely the first chapter of that. And
can we just pause and say, I need to say, there are a lot of kitties.
Yeah.
Coming to get you.
Yeah, these are
or a lot of 3-year-old boys trapping cats' bodies. Meow.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are these monsters are like what's it called? They're Lightning describes them as domesticated peacekeepers in the story.
Well, they don't look very peacekeeping.
Well, neither do the soldiers, but they are trying to kill us too, so...
Yeah.
So they're not that tough, you know, but,
I can't remember, are they just pure machine, or are they actual, like, creature?
That's an interesting thing to talk about, because, clearly there's some of them that look, you know, like a cross... So some creatures are obviously, biological.
Why not both?
Yeah, some of them are obviously biological, some of them are obviously mechanical, but some of them, like these Pantherons, look kind of like a cross between the two, so I don't actually know.
The red for maybe muscle or something.
Yeah, so the thing is, we haven't gotten to this point yet, but there's, like, in 2 chapters from now or something, you get, the ability to upgrade your weapons and accessories. And there's 2 different type. You use like monster materials to, or just materials in general, to upgrade your stuff.
Okay, so what did they drop?
So these enemies drop chipped fangs and wicked fangs. So those, from what I remember, those are biological.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So those, so that would lead me to believe that these monsters are actually biological. And they just kind of look, they're just like sci-fi looking, so they look a little bit like machines.
Oh.
So yeah, we got one of each, and so on the in the upgrade menu, those count as.
That ain't no artificial pussy. Oh,
yes.
What are these guys?
These are Zwerg Scandroids. I think they're pretty cute. They like to dance.
They got like little hula hoops.
Yeah, and they love dancing as well, which is really funny. You can get these as partners in 13.2.
I will destroy you with my dance routine.
Yeah, I think the Scandroids are, and they also have like a really mechanical sounding name, Scandroid. I think these are mechanical.
They are pretty cute. Although they kind of look like little kidneys with hula hoops.
Yeah, they do look like they look like beans, like big beans.
Yeah, beans.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they're from, or they were inspired, perhaps, by the jumping bean.
Oh, maybe, yeah, that's possible. And like, speaking of that, like this enemy here, Orion, which is clearly, or sorry, Myrmidon, that's what it's called.
Greetings, I am Myrmidon.
If you look at it, it looks kind of like a bug, don't you think? Because it has these antennas on the back.
Well, not only that, but like the appendages for the feet are very insect-like. I feel like they're very thin and wiry, supporting such a huge bod.
Yeah. So that's something that's really cool about this game. This game has such an amazing aesthetic because like it's got these really kick-ass enemy designs. That are like, you know, you've got the biological, the mechanical, and the ones that are like a cross between the two. And like it fits so well into the world because like Cocoon is like a mechanical paradise, and Pulse is like the natural. It's like natural. Imagine if Pulse is basically Australia, but like if Australia was an entire planet.
Ooh, so everything there could kill you.
Yeah, that's pretty much the idea behind Pulse.
And the spiders are incredibly huge.
I don't know if there are spiders on Pulse. I'm trying to remember if there are spider enemies.
Oh man. You are basically fighting myself, my family, because I would be like, here's my interpretive dance with my husband, and then my cat.
And then your cat, yeah. Yeah, but that's something I love. You can go on like the Final Fantasy wiki and just scroll through, like, I mean, I would say pages, but like it's a single scrolling page. But like an absolute shit ton of concept art.
Indeterminate amount of print preview pages.
Yeah, but you could just look at all the concept art, and it's so cool. They did such a great job.
I wonder how they did the creature development for all these mobs.
Do you mean like the animation or just
No, just like the concept, like going through the ideas of creating these guys. Like,
I don't know.
That would be really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Like not even how they look, but you know, what sounds are they going to make? How are they going to sound when they're walking or attacking or growling? Do they growl? Do they?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really cool thing about that's something I've thought about as somebody who does, you know, a lot of work with audio, or at least I used to. Is like how you decide sound effects. Because, like, that's because that's easy to fuck up, isn't it?
Because, like, this mob, he's not going to go squeaky, squeaky, squeaky every time he comes over to you, you know. Although, it'd be, like, if all the sound effects were opposite of what you're expecting, that would be pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
Just in an irony, or an ironic way. Oh, sorry. Words don't really work for me after a certain hour in the night.
Yeah. But But yeah, I feel like that's a hard job, personally.
Oh,
I feel either it's like a really hard thing to get into, or it's something that you kind of have to be really used to, just in general.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that they have to make it a little bit different for the Japan release versus the US release? Because I know for even characters, well, maybe it's just characters only, voices. Like if they go like, hiya,
Not so much with the sound effects, but for the dialogue, yeah.
Yeah, but even for the exclamations during a fight sequence. They
oh yeah, no, they do that, because if you've seen Dissidia NT's intro sequence, you can watch it in Japanese or in English, and they make different like grunts during the animation, when they could have just used like, because like nobody actually, I don't think anybody actually talks during that sequence.
Oh. They don't be like, NANI?
Yeah, nobody says anything. There, it's just like, it's just grunts, because it's just a fight. Yeah.
Or so you think.
Yeah.
Really, it's just foreplay for them.
Yeah. That's how they warm up. Oh man, actually, speaking of
what? What are you gonna go? Where are
I
you
saw
gonna go?
because of the Dissidia data mine, where they like hacked into the game.
Oh, okay.
You could see all of the like dialogue lines and like voice direction stuff, and it was super funny because like, well, first of all, it was kind of sad because some of the stuff that is like locked, like there's stuff in the game, but like you can't have it for some reason, or you need to like pay for it or other shit like that.
Oh, like you need to unlock it in a certain way.
Yeah, the argument, it's like, I don't know if you ever heard about this, but this was a big deal like years ago, when DLC started to become like a huge thing. But it was like the whole concept of on-disc DLC, and how like how unfair it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big like thing back then. I feel like, I don't know, Dissidia turned out to be, or NT specifically turned out to be a much less popular game than I think a lot of us were expecting it to be. But you know, it was really funny watching or like reading the dialogue stuff like in the text, because like the only one I saw was for Cloud, but I assumed the direction type was pretty much the same for everybody. So like they have in terms of like voice direction, and I guess they just I really wish Titus had that line in NT as like a custom character line. But yeah, so like for the ones that I saw, they had like different, and I guess they just kept it the file names the same for when they put them in the game. But like it said grunt or something, or grunt in pain, or grunt because you stepped on a Lego, or grunt because you got a Charlie horse, or grunt because somebody kicked the wind out of you or something. So it was really funny to read all that.
You're gonna regret this.
Oh man, that is special. That's kind of like if you're writing a Word document and you're just trying to give it some, you're just trying to save it, but just you put some random ass
like a placeholder
title, like a placeholder save title.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you don't change it and say you're in school and you're submitting it to your professor or teacher,
you just leave it there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of actually the Dissidia NT data mine, so the thing is, just because it's a little bit of the reason why we're doing this in the first place. The thing
Tell
is...
us more.
Yeah, so at first, like before NT was released or something, I don't know exactly when it was, because it was on Discord, and I have a Discord, but I don't really use it much. And I don't even know what...
Oh, I don't like these guys.
Oh yeah, these are Seath. They're pretty creepy.
Just, it gives me the creeps.
They're basically crystal zombies. I think that's the best way to describe them.
Oh my god. You know what they remind me of? The monster from Amnesia.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that video we used to watch all the time, where it was like...
oh my gosh, I am so sorry that I even had you watch that, because you had nightmares for so long, and you were like locking your bedroom door every night.
Yeah.
You were kind of young too, and so...
yeah. But if it's any consolation, I thought that video was really funny.
At the time, though, did you think it was funny?
Yeah, I did. That's
or
why.
Or were you just okay? not just because the monster.
Right. Yeah. No. Because I feel like I was thinking about it in that video. The monster doesn't really show itself that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I was more focused on what they were saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really fun.
I need to watch that again. That's such like OG laughs. In the gaming.
I was thinking about how fucking old that video is. It must be like... how long ago? That was like 7 years ago, wasn't it?
I think more than that, almost.
It's crazy how YouTube has changed so much since then. But going back to the day of mine. So basically before the season... or I don't know if it was after NT released, but before the Season Pass characters were announced, or if it was just before NT released in general. But somebody... like... released a leak talking about like who the Season Pass characters were gonna be. So let's see. Yeah, so I hadn't heard about this until like kind of recently, until it was like after the second character or something like that. I don't remember exactly when I heard about it, but basically this person claimed I only saw like a very small screenshot of the text or like the conversation. It was like 3 comments.
Okay.
And they said so I don't know what their source was, or they didn't provide any source or proof, or if they did, I didn't see it in the screenshot at least. But their claim was that there's 6 characters in the Season Pass. They claim that the 6 characters were Vayne from FF12. He's the he's like the bad guy.
Yeah.
Have you watched FF12?
I don't think so. Nope.
Okay. Well, do you know? I don't know if you know who he is. He's the guy that his name is what's his full name? Vayne Carudas Solidor. That's his full name. And he looks like how his name suggests he looks.
So he's like a fancy ass prick.
Well, no, he's like a fancy ass Spanish dude, essentially. Like with long hair.
Or that.
Essentially, what I'm saying is he looks a little bit like me.
Oh. Shit.
So yeah, I was gonna show you that trailer, but I guess I just forgot. But yeah, so he claimed that the 6 characters were Vayne from 12, Locke from 6, Renoa from 8, who's the other one? Snow from Lightning Returns, specifically, Yuna from 10, and they said there was a villain from 11, but they couldn't remember their name at the time. Because if you've seen how they named their characters in 11, it's not easy to remember those names because they have apostrophes in them. So yeah, so they said those were the 6 characters, and so far they got Vayne, Locke, and Renoa correct. So as far as I'm concerned, that was pretty much yeah, that's pretty much believable.
Kind of like an accurate leak.
Yeah, because they got it, and they got it like, and the way Square announced those was they said, they were like, okay, the first character is going to be a male from the new half of the series, a male from the old half of the series, a female from the new half of the series, a male from the new half of the series, and a female veteran from Dissidia, and then another new male from the second half of the series.
That sounds a little convoluted, honestly.
It does, but that's... I don't know how else they would have done it, honestly.
Right. I mean...
Because, like, there's so many fucking characters in Final Fantasy, and a lot of people want to see them in Dissidia. So, yeah, so that's how they announced it. And then they also said the first character was a villain who's also, like, a heavy type, which is, like, one of the character classes in Dissidia. Yeah, so they, that's how they announced it, so it's very ambiguous, obviously. And this guy got, you know, the first 3 characters perfectly correct. So, yeah.
He is from the future, you better believe it.
So, in terms of the next 3 characters, it's, we have 2 males who are from the newer half of the series and are new to Dissidia, and then we also have a returning female from Dissidia, and so there's only 2 of those that aren't in the game yet. There's Yuna from 10 or Prish from 11. So based on that, we know that the next character is going to be Snow, because if they release the 5th character, who is Yuna or Prish, if they release either of those after releasing the 11 villain, then we know they're not going to release 2 11 characters in the same pass, so it would basically give away that Yuna's the 5th character, which I don't think they want to do. So basically, if you go off of that logic, which is pretty sound, the next character's Snow, and then Yuna, and then the villain from 11. So that was the leak, and that came out like 4, 5, maybe 6 months ago. And since then, about a month or 2 ago, somebody actually like hacked into the game and found like all the placeholder shit. So we know like basically the leak was confirmed. So we got, you know, it says, because like what they found in the game was like placeholder data, like, so you have the data for all the characters, like win 100 matches with Cloud, win 1,000 matches with Cloud, or something like that, you know, and like stuff for like in-game achievements or whatever. And they said, you know, they found placeholder data for, you know, that stuff that I was just saying, but for Snow, for Yuna, for, I think Prish was also in there, Gilgamesh, and also the characters they released, like Vayne and stuff. Who else? Gabrynth. So a lot of veterans from the previous Dissidia. Oh shit, I'm gonna die. And they also had, so they had Snow, they had Yuna, and we found out, oh shit, they found out that the 11 villain is someone named, what was their name? Kamla Naut, or something like that.
Is that one of those apostrophe names?
Yeah. Which is how pretty much, well, most of the people in 11 are named, apparently. And I haven't played 11, so I don't really know about it, but, yeah, so basically the next 3 characters are going to be Snow, Yuna, and then Kamla Naut. So, yeah, so there we go. So, basically, yesterday, on Tuesday, they announced they announced the next stream, which is a week from yesterday, so next Tuesday. Yeah, so basically we can pretty much assume that Snow is going to be announced next Tuesday. So again, the plan originally for what we were doing here was that I wanted to do I wanted to do our little stream of this, and get to the point where I could start doing the solo run for Snow, like as a sort of commemoration, I guess you could say, for Snow being released in Dissidia. But obviously we took like a million years to get this running, so...
yeah, well... we did it though.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah, so, basically I'm just not... since we're not... and that's why I was considering watching the cutscenes, because at first it was like, I didn't think we would have time to watch the cutscenes. Sure. But now it's just, you know, I don't need to rush anymore, so... I was thinking about it, but then I looked up. I don't want people to be, like, watching ads in the stream.
No, you don't.
So, yeah.
Like, honestly...
if they're watching it back.
It's like, it's honest... to me, personally, it's like a cutscene within the cutscene.
Yeah.
Which, I'm like, oh, okay. Get over yourself, you too.
Yeah. And it would only, as far as I know, it wouldn't show up during the, like, the live stream, but if you were watching it back, then
right, as a VOD or something like that.
So I didn't, you know, it's not a big deal, honestly. And again, since I'm really happy that Pez is playing through the game now, so if you want to watch the story, absolutely go watch Pez play it. So yeah, but we're basically just gonna be going through about halfway through, which is where the game like really unlocks itself, basically. So that, because up until this point, it's like quite rigid in the sense of you choosing like characters. Like you don't get to choose the leader until about halfway through the game, and the whole party doesn't assemble as a full group of 6 until about halfway through the game. So yeah, so that's where we're going with this. Yeah, and originally it was going to be a sort of commemoration for Snow and Dissidia, but yeah, kind of late on that, but it's okay because we're still kind of a week early in a way.
Yeah.
So
how many hours do you think you're cutting by skipping cutscenes?
Well, the whole game is in like a movie version. You can watch it on YouTube, as in just the story, no battles. You can watch the whole story. I think it's about 8 hours long.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's also incredible. The soundtrack is about how long? It's like the soundtrack's about 4 hours long, if you can believe that.
Really?
Or something like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's fucking nuts how much effort they put into this.
Yeah, talk about like so little looping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, so the whole...
I would not want to be in that recording studio.
Yeah. Yeah, so the full story is about, I think it's 8 hours long, if I'm remembering that correctly. So by skipping it, we're skipping essentially what would have been... Well, the thing is, we're not going to be playing through the whole game anyway. But if we were going to be playing through the whole game, then yeah, we'd be skipping about 8 hours of stuff by not watching the cutscenes. So, yeah. And I've seen speedruns of this game as well. And speedruns of this, like the fastest, and I'm not really a speedrunner, honestly. I mean, I know, you know, I know pretty much, since this is basically my favorite game ever so far, I know pretty much everything about this game, mostly its battle system. I mean, I know, I would argue probably like 99% of the story as well, at the very least, in terms of like all the lore that you don't need to know and all that shit.
Yeah. Man, I used to be like that with Star Wars.
I used to be like that with the Elder Scrolls, if you can fucking believe that.
Dude, I totally believe that. I remember for Elder Scrolls, like, you knew, like, you got to know, like, all sorts of different plants IRL because of that game.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. If you want to learn about, if you plan on becoming a botanist, just play Oblivion or something like that.
Yeah.
or like a florist or something, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I like knew the
paradigm system. Okay, well, yeah, what were you saying?
I knew the names of the two sons of Tatooine. So, like Luke Skywalker's planet, where he, in Episode 4, A New Hope, he would be looking at the sunset, and it goes.
Yeah.
And there's the two suns setting. Like, I used to know their names and like the names of those two suns, and now, of course, I decided to replace all of that knowledge with maybe some other useless knowledge too. But
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to the part in the game where we become Lassie. So is that one of the vocab words that you feel like you didn't get a good grasp of? Because these are also apostrophe words.
No, I know Lassie and Falsey.
Yeah. The one you might not know is Seath, and those are those crystal zombies.
Yeah.
Those are just Lassie who failed their focus.
Yeah, that one I forgot about.
Yeah.
For sure. It wasn't central to the story, really. So.
Yeah. It's just, if anything, it's just like a lingering threat, because like that's what happens if you fail your focus.
Yeah.
So that's about the extent you need to know about Seath. But yeah. I'll skip the tutorial. Yeah.
We need to find a way out of here. We can worry about everything else later.
I know we're not streaming in like HD, but this game is.
I can't see anything but crystal.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it is a very pretty game.
Pretty and all, but it's kind of creepy too.
So shiny.
Yeah. And yeah, so I remember playing this for the first time, and like I had heard like nothing but good stuff about this series, and so this was I think this was the first one I played. It was either this or 6. I can't remember which one I played first. I think what happened was I tried this game. Well, okay, so obviously the first thing I did was I watched Moogle play 10, and I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to play 10 because I saw him play it. I thought it was really, really cool. But you know, when I went to your house and asked if Colby had his PS2, he didn't have it or whatever, so I couldn't play it. But he was like, "You can try this game," so he gave me this game, 13. And so I think what I did was I played this first for like a couple hours, and then I went back home. And, you know, I didn't go and pick up this game right away, but I think what I did after that was I had watched Brain Scratch do a playthrough of 6, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I think so since then I tried some of 6, but 6 is a really long game as well, so I didn't finish it, but, yeah, so I think that's what I did. I think I played through a little bit of 6 after playing this for like, I don't know.
Excuse me. Oh my goodness.
For like an hour or something. And then, you know, I got to this game after a while. A friend of mine was selling this game. He sold it to me for like $15. I was like, that's a hell of a good deal. So this was the first Final Fantasy game that I completed, basically. So, yeah. That's good for paradigms. Yeah, so this was the first game I completed. I remember when I came over to your house to play it, I was thinking to myself, man, I hear nothing but good things about Final Fantasy all the time, especially like the music and stuff like that. So this better be like the best fucking game I've ever played. That's what I went into this game not knowing anything about it, like not knowing about the trailers or like what, you know, any of the hype or anything, because I played it, I think in like,
just too easy.
Was it 2012 or something? Does that sound right to you? somewhere. I think it was about 2012 when I played this game for the first time.
Yeah, that was when
when you were living in Virginia, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went over to play it, and I was like, this better be the best fucking game I've ever played. And it was. So, yeah, it's funny how that turned out. Yeah, so I had, like, really high expectations, even though I didn't know about the game, you know?
Right.
But, yeah. So, yeah, pretty much blew everything out of the water for me. Like, blew past all my expectations.
It hurricaned.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's my experience with this game, and it's been my favorite game pretty much since then.
That's a much nicer story of being introduced to the game than mine. Mine was literally, my husband picked it up and bought it and started playing it, and yeah. I just heard it from every room in the house.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just thinking yesterday about like what my favorite games are. Like my top 10. Like this is definitely my #1 favorite game. And I don't know. I feel like 13-2 is like this game, but almost as good. I feel. It's basically my opinion.
Have you put in more hours into either of those games than Oblivion?
Probably not, because like I played so before I played this game, my favorite game was probably Skyrim, and then before Skyrim, my favorite game was Oblivion.
That's a lot of enemies.
So yeah, so I don't think I don't even know how many hours I put into Oblivion, because like, you know, I would like start new save files, and also I had to go through like I think 3 Xboxes or some shit like that, because they kept fucking up. Yeah, but basically, I probably haven't played more of maybe as a trilogy I might have played more of this trilogy than Oblivion. But in terms of any individual game, I don't think any of them have gone past how much time I've spent in Oblivion. So yeah, but yeah.
Are you playing this on Steam right now?
Yeah, with a controller.
Okay. I think Steam can tell you how many hours you played on each game.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad Steam does that actually, because also what's nice about that is when people leave like user reviews on Steam, it tells you how many hours they played of it when they made that review.
Oh.
So if some hater, you know, if some haters just like
6 minutes.
like no, not even like even if they haven't put even a single minute into the game, you know, you'll be able to tell that, you know, that somebody's just being a cunt and, you know, not actually giving you a proper, well thought out opinion.
Like the Amazon reviews where it's like, this person actually bought this product and reviewed it.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, even though I feel like this game managed a hell of a lot better than 13-2 did, because at least this game is pretty much completely playable. It's not as high quality as like the console versions. You can look at like, I think on the Final Fantasy subreddit, they have on like the sidebar, they have a wiki about like what the best way to play every Final Fantasy game is, and they give you like, there's a little chart about like the pros and cons of playing the same game on different consoles or different versions or whatever. And according to them, the PS3 version is the best version of this game.
I believe it.
Yeah, because like that's, you know, ever since they went 3D, they've been doing for PlayStation But they wanted to make this game multi-platform. So actually, you know, it's funny. I think this is technically the first multi-platform Final Fantasy game, as far as I'm aware, because it was available on 360 and PS3, and you know, and then eventually on PC.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but like upon release, I think this was the first Final Fantasy game that was multi-platform on release. So that's pretty cool. And that's how I played it. You know, I probably would not have played this game if it wasn't on the 360, because I didn't have a PS3. I knew I was going to get one eventually to play, like, Okami and Metal Gear and stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah.
These guys look gross.
These are Russian bass. I almost said bass.
They're like, ugh.
They're like frogs with fins, basically.
They look like ratfish.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Something went horribly wrong, and then there were ratfish.
But like, you look at these. Oh shit! It might.
Just stay out of my way.
Oh, this might take too long.
Back off!
No.
Oh, okay, there we go. That's why Sentinel is useful, because they can attract the enemy's attention. Yeah. So yeah, but like the thing about these enemies is like you can believe that, like, you look at all the enemies in this game and you're like, yeah, I can believe that these creatures actually live here, you know? And like the whole dichotomy between Cocoon and Pulse is like super cool, and like you can see it between like not just the enemies but also like the architecture and stuff. It's really cool. It's one of the things that like really adds to the, I guess you could call it the immersion, or like.
I really like the environment development.
Yeah, I think that's something they did really well in this game. Yeah, it's just, and actually you can see like concept paintings on the Final Fantasy wiki as well.
Bet those are beautiful.
Yeah, and also they have those on in like they have like a Final Fantasy museum, I think. I don't remember where it was. It must be in Japan somewhere, I guess, but
That sounds likely.
yeah.
I know they have like a Gundam museum
Yeah.
in Japan.
Man, Gundam is super popular in Japan.
It's crazy.
That's, you know, that's the only game that's that outperforms Dissidia in the arcades is Gundam Versus.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gundam was the first manga I read.
Oh yeah.
It was a part of the Gundam series.
I feel like Gundam's super iconic, just like as a video game, and also as like an anime.
I think it's like a very Japanese story too.
Yeah.
Just the way people interact with each other too, it's very iconic.
I've only seen like a little bit of it, but like you can, even if you don't even watch Gundam, as long as you know like what it's about, you can see its influence everywhere. Like,
yeah.
Like not even just in like Eastern media. Like you can see it in like, you know, Western stuff. Like
Don't say
like,
Pacific Rim.
I was gonna say that, but also it's not just that. It's also like Transformers and, you know, other.
Yeah,
other shit
a little
like that.
bit.
I'm tougher than you
Well,
thought.
Transformers started in Japan.
Oh,
Like,
did it?
The actual toy. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I forget what they were called. They're a little bit different. They're a little bit more intricate too, as far as the, you know, opening up the toy to become something else, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, what are they called? Can't remember. Chat's not helping.
Is there how many people are watching right now?
There's a few people, 3 people.
Oh, okay.
But goodness, yeah. But if you've ever watched Gundam So I watched Gundam Seed, and it was so overwhelming emotionally and psychologically that I had to like take a break from it after a while. Like, it was just very heavy topics too, and it was definitely for adults.
That's kind of how I felt about
like, definitely not for kids.
Yeah.
Because not because there's like titties everywhere or anything. There's not really. But it was just the subject. There's a lot of subjects that are covered that are very hard to digest, I should say.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of how I feel about Full Metal Alchemist. Like, honestly, that's some of the darkest shit I've seen.
At least there's like a little bit of comedy in there. Gundam Seed does not.
Oh wow. Yeah, you're right.
Like
FMA does have. Yeah, FMA does have you know, a bit of comedy in there.
Especially with the oh gosh, what's the brother's name?
Al?
That's in the suit.
Yeah, Al. I think that's his name.
Al.
Yeah, but I feel like that's even kind of true of One Piece. But at the same time, One Piece is, you know, some kids watch One Piece even, like in Japan.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure. But I mean, some of the topics, it's such a big, huge thing, like just a massive entity that it talks about all sorts of different subjects, and so it's not just focused on the dark and the heavy all the time. It's, you know, a mixture of everything in every episode almost.
Yeah. And One Piece has a lot of comedy as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's kind of funny, like even though that other stuff is in there, there's still, those dark themes still exist, and kids still watch it in Japan. It kind of makes me, it kind of leads me to believe that just Japanese, well, what I want to say is Japanese kids are more mature than like, I don't know, American kids. But what's more likely to be true is that
I'm tougher than you thought, huh?
The rest of the world's children are more mature than American children.
Well, there's that, yeah, but also I think it's not so much the children themselves, it's more like the people who do the programming think that kids aren't mature enough to, you know, to deal with that stuff. Yeah. Even if that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I agree to that. They don't want to take the risk.
Yeah.
So how far away from the halfway point do you think we are from now?
Let's see. This is still, like, kind of... It's like, the tutorial, in my opinion... Well, I don't know, it kind of depends. Some people are actually stupid enough to think that, like, the tutorial is until you get to Pulse, which is halfway through the game.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when, like, everything is completely unlocked to you.
Sure.
But, so I guess some people will just think... There's a lot of, like, real serious misinformation regarding this game. For whatever fucking reason, honestly. But...
It's all those haters.
It is...
Those haters.
Yeah. I don't... Yeah, and then that's when things get confusing, because you're not sure if people are spreading misinformation because they're haters or because they're just incredibly misinformed. Slash confused, which is also possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to tell at that point. Yeah, but basically, as far as I can tell, the tutorial ends. It's really hard to say because the first two chapters, which we just finished, are all about, like, you know. Honestly, it's not so much tutorial because there's so much combat. Like, you have to fight probably at least like 70 battles during that first two chapters, and that's like plenty of time to get used to the ATB system. which was present in other Final Fantasy games. And it's not even like complex or anything, you know. It's like it's ATB. It's like only slightly different from turn-based. So it's not like a huge deal or anything, honestly.
Yeah.
In
I think
my
it's
opinion.
like very accessible to the people who are used to the turn-based.
Yeah. But other than that, you know, it's like the I feel like it's only a tutorial area for expository reasons, like for storytelling, and that's it. Which is sensible, because, you know, they gotta tell the story, obviously, but you know, you don't really need that many battles to get used to the ATB system, because it's not that difficult. It's the paradigm system, which we just learned, you know, with the magic and everything, the paradigm shifting, that's like the hard stuff.
Gamers be like, why you holding my hand through all of this? I can, like, oh, I could do this myself.
Yeah.
And then, like, next slide. Oh my god, what do I do? They told me nothing.
Yeah, and that's it kind of that's something else that pisses me off, is just like the fucking people. So here's the thing, people complain that these characters aren't like they're one note, as in like,
yeah, they're not fully fledged out.
yeah, but then so they're like, okay, so they hate the characters, right? Or the haters do, you know, the haters hate these characters at the beginning, and then they complain that you know, that they're one note, even though, you know, you need so here's the thing, this game is approximately, like, in total, if you're doing all, not everything, you know, but like if it's your first time especially, and, you know, you're watching the story and stuff and doing, you know, normal stuff, not even all the side content, you're just playing through the game your first time, this is approximately a 60-hour game, so like, you can't expect to play the first 2 hours and, you know, and get everything that the game has to offer at that point, you know what I'm saying? So people bitch about the characters immediately, but at that point they've decided they don't care, or decided their mind has already decided that they don't like the game without giving it like a fair chance. And then even worse than that are the people, not that it's really their fault, I should say the even more unfortunate than that are the people who listen to these haters and just decide to completely skip over this game. So yeah, and that's actually what Pez did. He you know, and he loves the game now, but like he was talking about it on the stream yesterday. He's like, I was dumb enough to listen to the naysayers, so I basically avoided the game for, you know, for like a year or something, or a couple of years.
Stay sharp.
So
Talk about peer pressure in like the opposite way. Like, you know, instead of being pressured into something, into doing something,
they pressure you out of
away.
it. Yeah. And that's, I feel like that kind of, I don't know. This is like the game where that's most true, I feel. And I really don't know what the exact problem is, or if it's just an amalgam of a ton of problems. I mean, one thing's for sure. One of the problems with things is I guess gamers today are just incredibly impatient, because like they want these characters to be developed, but they don't give the characters time to develop. So I have no fucking clue what they were hoping for. They were hoping for an impossibility or something, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Anyway, the point of this is, like, you know, if you want to enjoy this game, you need to give it some time, because it's a long game. Like, if you play the first 2 hours, and there was somebody on like Reddit, like a couple weeks ago, even, who was like, I've played through like the first 2 hours and nothing's happening. The game hasn't gotten more interesting. It's really boring. and shit, and I don't like the characters, and I'm like, how long have you played? And they're like, I don't know, 2 hours maybe, and I'm just like, this is a 60-hour game. My recommendation is that you give it... My recommendation is you spend at least, like, 6 hours playing the game, which will bring you to about Chapter 5.
Sure.
Which is about, you know, long enough to experience pretty much everything, you know, a little taste of everything that the game has to offer, you know, or mostly everything, you know. I would say up to the start of Chapter 5, which is Disc 2 on consoles, and, you know, about 6 hours into the game, which is a tenth of the game, that surely can't be too much to ask for, you know. And, like, I think it's a good place to stop, you know, if you decide that if everything that you did up until then was completely unenjoyable, you know, to your disliking, then yeah, you know, I would say you gave it a fair shot, and, you know, it's fair, you know, you're not going to like the game, and that's just how it is, but, you know, I feel like a bunch of people, you know, not counting the people who have never played the game, because I feel like those people don't really count, or shouldn't count.
Yeah. There are those fake reviews.
Yeah, pretty much. And those, like, honestly, I don't see a reason to disagree with my take on that, because, like, if you haven't actually played the game, does your opinion mean anything, you know? Probably not, right? Because, like, there's a difference between... but, you know, some people will counter that by saying, I don't need to, you know, I don't need to put shit in my mouth to know that it tastes terrible, you know?
Right.
It's still, you know, I don't need... So basically what they mean by that is...
It's not even that, but it's just like, okay, taking that analogy of, like, tasting a food that you've never had before, like Brussels sprouts, okay? You taste them raw, yeah, you're not gonna like it. But have you tried it cooked this way? Have you tried it cooked this way, or another way, or with another element added to it, you know?
Yeah.
That's giving it a chance. That's giving it a fair chance. So.
And then there's also, like, just listening to somebody tell you about it and then not even trying it and just saying, yeah, I don't like it. I've never had it before, but other people have told me that it sucks, so I know it sucks, you know.
It's like, okay, what are you, you know, an 8-year-old regurgitating your parents' political opinions? Because that's what it sounds like. Yeah. It sounds exactly the same sort of mentality.
Yeah.
You just hear people say this bullshit, and they're like, okay, cool, I'm not going to make my own opinion and just regurgitate this.
Yeah, and that's just, unfortunately, I don't know. It's... A lot of people, I don't know who to blame for this. I mean, there's clearly a lot of fucking people at fault for this. And it's not like, again, it's not like this game is perfect by any means, you know. And it's not for everybody, obviously. But there's, like, clearly, and Pez is a perfect example of this, like, he knows, because he was a victim of this firsthand, like, just how much misinformation there is about this game, or just people lying or whatever.
Yeah, totally. I think, you know, the only way for you to truly know is to do your own research.
Yeah.
Make your own opinion. Figure things out to the fullest extent that you are capable of.
Yeah. And, like, that's what game rental is for, you know? Like, that's...
This is just, like, life in general.
Yeah.
Like, even with news, like, you know, there's so much misinformation, you just have to do all the research yourself.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, it's crazy.
Final Fantasy teaching you about life.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's just... It's really unfortunate, because... This game isn't perfect, but there's... even today, like, almost 10 years after it's been released, there's still people who, like, are misinformed or continue to misinform people about what this game is, like, about. Or just information about the game in general.
At least it's pretty.
Yeah, there's that.
Like, if you have anything bad to say, at least say it's pretty, because it is, and that's fact.
Well, the thing is, yeah, I'm trying to think of like all the things, because this game is like divisive in like so many different ways, including something that you know, it's like Final Fantasy has never really been criticized for its music, because usually it's pretty good. But, you know, music is pretty much the most subjective thing there is.
Right.
But, you know, still, you would think that a lot of people would agree that the music is good, since we can agree that the music of other Final Fantasy games is good. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
You know, that's something even... I would say most people agree that the soundtrack is really good, but some people are gonna not, like, really believe me when I say this, but I've seen some people say that the music is, like, too cliche. I've literally seen people write comments saying the violins are too cliche, or something.
Okay, well...
Which is, like... I mean, I understand what cliche is, and I see cliche stuff a lot, but, like...
Well, get your master's in composition and music composition, and then come back to me.
Yeah,
like,
but...
honestly, like, I can't listen to that, because, like, people are like, oh, like, this artist isn't...
Yeah, or I've also heard people say...
Like
I've also heard people say that the music isn't catchy enough, which I disagree with. But on another point, you know, I mean, first of all, the battle theme is very catchy by itself, Blinded by Light. But, you know, among other things, the main theme is really catchy in my opinion. You know, I think it has plenty of catchy themes, but as somebody who's thought, like, about catchy music, I have a problem with that, like, on a personal level, because, like, I feel like music isn't necessarily good because it's catchy, which I feel like a lot of people fall into that sort of trapped logic that might be true, and I definitely don't think that's true, because, like, what's another catchy song? What Does the Fox Say? And I don't like that song. You know, I think...
and a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't, but they're like, oh, but it's just so catchy. No, it's a marketing gimmick.
Yeah. And so something isn't necessarily good because it's catchy, in my opinion. And in my personal opinion, I would rather have music... So, like, in terms of the definition of catchy, it's like something that stays in your head, right? I would rather have music be catchy because it's good, and not because, like, it's, you know, hypnotic or repetitive or torturous, you know?
Yeah. It was it was just consequence of being good.
Yeah, so, like, it sticks in my head because I like it enough to keep thinking about it, you know?
Right, yeah.
And then there's some people who don't realize that not all, but a lot of the music in this game was designed with atmosphere, like, at the front and center. So, like, it's not...
that's like a whole another realm of music.
It's not... This music, I wouldn't describe it as ambient or ambience, but it clearly has... That was clearly a topic that was in the composer's mind when they were thinking about it. I want music that's fitting. You know, music that's fitting to, you know, the world or the story, you know. And I feel like a lot of people don't consider that. And even when we're talking about other stuff, like, you know, I don't know, like, just anything that has ambience instead of like standard music. So yeah.
See, I like that kind of music more.
You like ambient music?
Yeah, I'm totally into it. Like, even when I was in music school, there was this new music ensemble, and we did stuff that was like that. That was more... Well, let's just say that the general, average, normal person would be like, this is music?
Yeah.
That's the shit I like.
Yeah.
So, that's why I like the soundtrack to this. too.
Yeah. I absolutely... This is probably... Oh man, I was listening to the Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag soundtrack yesterday. It's so that was, I think it was... So basically, for me, in terms of music, this game, FF13, made me realize how much I like string-focused music. Because before, you know, I would listen to, like, Oblivion and Skyrim, you know, it's a full orchestra, obviously, but, like, you know, the battle music, for example, is mostly brass. So, and, you know, you played in band and I played in band, so I'm really used to, like, heavy brass. And, you know, that was formerly my favorite. I loved, like, what was that? Mahler's Ninth Symphony, was it? Like, Song of the Earth, is that what it was called? Do you remember what I'm talking about? That, like, French horn heavy song?
Well, all Mahler's. Yeah, but, but like... Song of the Earth, I think, is its own thing.
Or something, it was something, I can't, it's been a long time since I've heard it, but, like, I was absolutely in love with, whatever that song was called.
Let me double check. Song of the Earth.
I don't know if that was the exact title, but it was something like that.
Yeah, Das Lied von Erde. Von der Erde. Yeah. It might as well be a symphony,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so, like, before I played this game, I was super used to, like, heavy brass. And then this game... And then there's this other element, before I talk more about, you know, this type of music. But, like, attachment, you know? It's why, you know, part of why I love video games and video game soundtracks is because, like, I have an emotional attachment to the characters and everything. So...
That means...
like
people who made the game did a really good job.
Yeah, and then it also makes the music mean more to me, and the story too.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so this game made me realize how much I liked strings and like string-focused music, like Blinded by Light, the battle theme. And you know, just across the soundtrack, there's plenty of across the whole trilogy. There's plenty of violin and piano, which I wasn't really used to as somebody who's, you know, played a lot of Oblivion and played in a band which doesn't have strings or piano. So yeah, and then I played Black Flag, which I was super into because I love pirates. And that made me realize how much, and it was kind of like 13 because it was like string, you know, Celtic and pirate music is like string heavy.
Yeah, it just sounds so much better on strings than any other instrument.
Look at how well the environment is designed here.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, it's like 12:30 in the morning for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So we've been... How long have we been streaming? We started at like 3:30.
10:30.
Yeah. So
oh, well, so I guess it's been 2 hours. Almost.
Okay. Is there a save point? There was a save point back.
Doop doop doop.
I'll get to the next save point and then we can call it quits.
Sure.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, in terms of like this game's criticism, I feel like not all of it is fair.
Sure.
In fact, you know, just like there's so much misinformation regarding it.
Is there any criticism that you agree with? Or that's like, well, not agree with, but at least see that there's some founding.
Yeah. Let me see. Criticism that I agree with. There's one thing in terms of the stuff that I don't like about this game. There's a very small number of things, and they're pretty much all gameplay related. So in this game, if your leader dies or is knocked out, then you get a game over. Like even if your allies still had HP left, you can't switch to them or anything. It's a game over if your leader is knocked out. And I think that's pretty stupid. I think about like how the thing is, game overs don't mean a single thing in this game because you just start right before that battle, and also you can.
So like, why even point it out?
Yeah. So the other thing is there's a retry option, and retry just puts you right back in the world right before where you were. So it's basically game over is exactly the same as retry, essentially. Like, it doesn't put you at the last save point, it puts you right before what you were just doing. So
without all the hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like mentally seeing game over kind of like does a number on you.
Yeah, kind of. It'll piss you off, but like the reality is that it's no different from retry. So it's just kind of stupid in my opinion. And I think about like why they have the whole leader KO equals game over thing, and I think like maybe because of the whole thing that game over doesn't mean anything. Maybe that's why they felt.
But then why? Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's like they could have just changed the parameters so that it puts you.
It's like a circular problem, almost.
It's a circular problem that could, in my opinion, be easily fixed. And I don't know if it was like a technical limitation or something like that. Because this game was kind of hell to make, because they had a lot of trouble getting the engine to work, because for some reason Square just fucking loves making new engines for every game. Or like, so here's the thing, this game runs on the Crystal Tools engine, and only 5 games use this engine. There's 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, which are all in the same little sub-series.
That's already over half.
Yeah. Oh shit. And then there's what's it called? One of the Dragon Quest games. And then Final Fantasy XIV. And that's literally it. And then for 15, they were like, okay, let's make a new engine. And I'm like, this one is not only gorgeous, but like, I know it's kind of a, well, I don't know. It was a pain in the ass to work with because they wanted to make it multi-platform. Which is, honestly, in my opinion, that's fair because, you know, that's like a good reason to spend time making, you know, to spend more time with the game, right? Is to make it multi-platform. So...
Sorry if there's extra noise, do you hear that?
Not really, no.
Oh. Willow was scratching her cat tree.
Oh, yeah, I don't really hear that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like... This game was kind of hell to create, apparently. So I don't know if they just kind of ran out of time for some stuff. It kind of makes me feel like they didn't, because there's actually cut content in this game. Although actually maybe that might be. I guess it wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't be cut if they had time to implement it. So maybe that's something to think about. But yeah. Yeah. So it's just like. Yeah, I feel like a way they could have. I would say that's a fair criticism, that the whole, because I don't like it either. You know, like the whole leader KO equals game over. I think that's pretty stupid, honestly. And what I would prefer, if they wanted to not change how game over worked, as in like it's the same as retry. In my opinion, a fair way to keep the challenge but not have it be so bullshit is. If your leader is knocked out, then they can't take action or use items, but they can still shift paradigms so that your other allies can still keep doing stuff. I think that would have been fair. So like basically, if you can imagine, you know, when Lightning is knocked out, she can still shift paradigms and control what roles the other 2 allies are using.
Are these guys fighting a car, basically?
It's a motorcycle. This one's called the Ciconia Velocycle. So, yeah.
Vroom vroom, motherfucker.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was just like, huh. They're fighting a vehicle.
It's a flying motorcycle. That's pretty cool.
But like, it has a mind of its own.
Yeah, it also has guns on it.
I mean, so do tanks, so...
I guess so, yeah. And also, you never see anybody riding these. You never see, like, the enemies riding the Velocycle.
Oh, weird. Hmm.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think of One Piece, where the whole, like, trying to get inanimate objects to ingest the,
Oh, yeah.
the devil fruit. Is that what they're called? It's been a while.
Yeah. Oh, man, I haven't watched One Piece in, like... I was trying to... I just get... I feel like the anime is really poorly paced these days.
Yeah, we're, like, I think a couple arcs behind, so...
Yeah. I think I'm at the current arc. It's just, like... I couldn't be fucked to keep watching.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like a year ago, like a year and a half ago.
Mm. Oh.
Yeah. But what else?
Let's
yeah.
make them magical.
Yeah. And people complain about this too. The Crystarium,
yeah.
Because they consider it to be just like, you know XIII, right? XIII has something that's kind of like this called the sphere grid, and that's like kind of non-linear,
right? In a way,
because like technically you can go wherever you want in the sphere grid, but you can't go wherever you want in the Crystarium. Like sort of. But the difference is
like very direct.
Yeah, it's very direct, but at the same time, you could say that same thing about the sphere grid, because, like, there's no point in deviating your character from whatever path the game sort of suggests.
Prescribes.
Yeah. Except for Kimari, because, like, the whole point of his character is that you can design him to be however you want, because he doesn't have a path.
Right.
You just put him on whatever thing you want him to do. And that's why I think Kimari's like one of the most interesting characters in terms of gameplay, because, you know, it's just, he's so much more interesting because of that. And it's like, there's no point in, like, taking Titus down Lulu or Yuna's path or whatever, because it's just, you're just going to be wasting slightly more time, you know. So there's really no point in it, in my opinion. Even on the expert sphere grid, like, it's there's still, like, locks preventing you from going between routes at any given time, so like it's still gonna stop you from going in certain directions, which sucks.
I could see the.
And then the other thing about this game, people say that this, much like the rest of the game, the Crystarium is just a straight line. But the thing is, you always have at least 3 choices. Like you don't have to go down the medic. You could go down Ravager, Synergist for hope here, you know, or medic. That's 3 choices right there. And then once you get through the halfway point, you have 3 more choices, because every character can learn every role, and they all learn different abilities for every role. So, you know, and some characters are better at some roles than others. I mean, nobody's bad at anything really, but like, you know, it's like,
yeah, you still have choice.
Yeah, there's still choice. Anybody who says that the Crystarium is a legitimate straight line is... They're not completely incorrect, but they're far from being correct.
Yeah, they're not putting any recognition into, yes, you still have choice, even though it's a limited amount.
Yeah.
There's still some deviation that you can do.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. We're at a save point right now.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah. So we went for a lot longer than I thought we would have. But
I honestly was like, I guess we're doing all the way through to the halfway point today. But then I was like looking at the time and I was like, you know, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to stay up till like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you.
So, but I mean, this is a fine time for me to wind down. But
I feel like it was pretty. We don't have to do like a 2-hour stream every time. It depends.
This felt organic though.
Yeah.
This amount of time, I feel like it's enough time for you to just like get into a groove.
Yeah.
And allows enough people to come by and say hello.
Yeah.
And chat.
Yeah. So that's pretty good for now. I'll make an update like schedule video soon, like in a couple of days.
Announcement.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Yes, but basically the plan for this is to do it like every Wednesday. That's like the default day, at 3 p.m. Central Time, or around there. Maybe, I mean, we tend to be fashionably late anyway, but, you know, it's supposed to be somewhere around there. So it'll be 3 p.m. every Wednesday, approximately. We might push it back to Thursday or Friday. We chose Wednesday because that's like a really good day. Like, in general, it's a decent day, but also if we have to push it back to Thursday or Friday, we can do that and not sacrifice like a weekly stream just for the sake of like mildly better consistency. So yeah, so that's the plan.
So yeah, come and see us next Wednesday. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully next Wednesday.
Look out for our announcement for sure.
Yeah.
To make sure that it is indeed going to be a Wednesday the next time you see us.
Yeah. And then also on Tuesday is when the next Dissidia character will be announced. I mean, we're not going to be covering it, but if you're interested, you know, check out Square's Japanese YouTube channel. And you'll hopefully be able to see it on Tuesday after like 6 in the morning sometime. Sometime it'll be on their channel. Yeah. So yeah, it'll probably be snow. That's all I need to say about that.
Make your bets now.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that next time. So yeah.
All
so
right.
that's about it. Thanks for joining us today. And
goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you all next time. There we go.
Bye.
Bye guys. Bye.